the testimony you may give and the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness stand.
Thank you.
So you may have to go on those. Turn the switch off. Excuse me a second. Detective, state and spell your first and last name, please.
Sure. Efren Gutierrez. First name is E-F-R-E-N. Gutierrez is G-U-T-I-E-R-R-E-Z.
You may proceed.
Thank you. What do you do for a living?
I'm a police detective for the city of Los Angeles, currently assigned to Mission Division detectives.
What division, I'm sorry?
Mission.
Is that an area of Los Angeles then?
Yes, it's one of the stations.
Okay, and that's with LAPD?
Correct.
And how long have you been a peace officer?
30 years.
Back in January of 2017, what was your assignment?
I was assigned to Operations Valley Bureau Homicide.
And what does that entail?
It's the Bureau Divisional level, or I'm sorry, Bureau level homicide unit, which covers the San Fernando Valley, all the LAPD jurisdiction in the San Fernando Valley.
Did you then respond to 5012 Queen Victoria in Woodland Hills regarding a killing that occurred there?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what time did you get there?
Just before 7, about 6:45 p.m.
Up on the screen is what's previously been marked as People's 9, page 9. Is that the location where you responded?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So when you got there, then what was your responsibility?
So I arrived there and waited for the rest of the homicide squad that was on call. Once they arrived, I did a walkthrough of the crime scene, which included the interior of the house and the backyard, and basically a preliminary viewing of the scene.
And in that preliminary viewing, what did you notice as far as the crime scene?
So I recall seeing blood-stained evidence on the kitchen floor near a slider. The decedent was an adult male in the patio, kind of in a crouch position. There's some wet blood on the ground. Also, I recall seeing, I believe it was a master bedroom, appeared to have been ransacked. There was clothes on the ground and dresser drawers were open.
When you did this initial walkthrough, are you meeting with any of the detectives there?
Yes, as I said, the homicide on-call squad was there. I did a walkthrough with Detective Gene Parshall. He was going to be the lead investigator on the case. And Rob Flirday, Ryan Verna, and Gabe Bucknell.
Now, do you recognize the person sitting over here in the blue blazer with the long dark hair, the female? Do you recognize her?
Yes.
How do you recognize her?
I recall doing a walkthrough with her and Detective Parshall at the termination of the crime scene investigation.
Thank you. So Is that a typical scenario where you walk through the residence with someone that lives there? Can you explain why you did that?
So it's standard operating procedure with the LAPD. If a search warrant is served at a location, whoever has control or the owner of a specific location, whether it's a house or a business, we take before photos and after photos, and then do a walkthrough with whomever's going to remain or be in control of the location once the police depart, and basically describe what we did as far as our investigation and whether or not we seized any items.
So did you spend a fair amount of time with the defendant then going to the different rooms and showing her items that were recovered?
Probably about 15 minutes tops.
Okay. Did you talk to her during this time?
I don't think I said anything to her directly.
Okay. So while you were with the defendant, was anybody else with you when you walked through this house?
Detective Parshall was.
Okay. Did you notice anything unusual about the defendant?
Yes. So my understanding, it was the wife of the decedent. She wasn't crying. No tears. There was no runny nose. Seemed kind of odd. That didn't look like someone that was grieving.
Have you conducted homicide investigations before where you've had to interact with family members, loved ones, something of that nature?
Yes. So I worked homicide for 18 years. During that time, I personally handled 108 homicide cases, and then additional probably 300, give or take, undetermined or unnatural death scenes. So yeah, I interact with family grieving at these type of calls.
And this particular scenario, the defendant struck you as unusual?
Yes, I mean, I'm well aware that people grieve differently, but I thought her behavior seemed odd, a little forced. And I recall telling Detective Parshall that I said she's full of crap when we walked out of the house.
Okay, thank you. I have no more questions. Detective, so when you, back in January, you went to the scene, your role was to do this walkthrough with one of the detectives, right?
Correct.
And you weren't a lead detective on it, it wasn't your case, is that right?
That's correct.
And so, but after having investigated well over 100 homicides and being experienced, this one struck you as different as what you're testifying to because of the lack of what you deem no emotion, no tears, right?
Yes.
Okay. 7, 8 years later now, we're in court. Do you still remember that?
I do.
And does that stick out as different, even from that day forward, of the continuing investigations you've done of an unusual reaction from a victim?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
By the defense.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Detective Gutierrez, you're
Excuse.